Night in the Florida swamp is not peaceful or quiet. Starlight sparkles violently on murky water. The air is filled with the buzz and scream of insects, the slosh and slither of reptiles. A man walks through the dark, unafraid.
This real old man in shorts and a t-shirt and a life jacket, and he's got a boat hat on, and he's got a leash in his hand which goes down to a giant mammoth alligator next to him. He's whistling a tune.
Gizzard is here to listen to the noise because the sounds are voices. The gator at his side, possums and water moccasins, the catfish swishing past his feet, swamp eel and crawdads in the mud, palmetto bugs, deer flies, the skeeters who wouldn't dare bite Gizzard, the leaves of the bald cypress, even the stars above are singing in the dark. All of these things mumbling and whispering to Gizzard. Remember, they say, and he does. Welcome back, everyone, to Smoke and Mirrors, episode 3. Today, we are taking a little break from playing Wizard Springs, and we're going to play a game of For the Queen as a way of kind of figuring out what happened in the 1960s when Giz first visited the Grand Merlin Hotel. And I don't know what's going to happen with this game. We're going to kind of figure it out as we go along. Joining us again today is, well, I'm Hubbard here again. And we also have Tanya, and Static. I would say reprising their roles, but we don't actually know what characters everyone is going to be playing. We're going to kind of figure that out as we go. Say hi, everyone.
Hi,
Hello.
everyone.
Hello.
Okay, so we are diving into For the Queen. I have the updated, brand new edition of the game set up on Roll20 for us. So for starters, what we're going to do is take turns drawing cards from the rules deck, and we'll just draw a card, read it out loud, and we'll just continue kind of in a circle. I would say like the order that we see on the Discord makes sense. Me, Pan, Tanya, Static, and we'll kind of keep that order throughout the game. But you can, I'm going to go ahead and do it so you can see. Grab a card and drag it over to the rules box. And my first card is go around the table clockwise, taking turns reading these cards aloud.
And then it's me.
That's you, yeah.
Okay. Get on the thing. Oh, I missed.
So
Okay.
close.
2. The land has been in turmoil for as long as any of you have been alive.
The Queen has decided to undertake a long and perilous journey to broker an alliance with a distant power.
I almost made it.
Like the upper left corner is, I think, where you can aim
Okay.
for to almost get it.
The
If it
queen
matters.
Yeah, we can read it fine
Yeah,
from
I know.
halfway. The queen has chosen all of you and no one else to be her retinue and accompany her on this journey.
She chose you because she knows that you love her. And I want to pause here for a moment. So that's kind of like the background information. Um, so our queen is going to be a magician who is maybe a little non-traditional and definitely like has her hand in some ancient mysteries, things that she shouldn't be messing around with. And the distant power is going to be the like organization of traditional magicians who meet at the Grand Merlin at this time, the Grand Marlin Hotel every year. So that's going to be our little adjustment to that background thing. What is the conflict between the two of them? What's the like war? I don't know. We'll figure that out as we go along. But that's the stuff I want to set up before we dive in. But Pan, go ahead and pull the next card.
Dang it, Bobby. 6. You are welcome to look through the illustrated cards for inspiration. If there is one that blah, blah, blah. If there is one that players are drawn to, display it on the table to represent your queen.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we want to do that, the queen cards, which are the second from the top, just have illustrations. If you want to like, if we want to like flip through those and see if one of them is sort of evocative, or I know there's a couple in there that I really liked.
Ooh,
That
which
was kind of
one?
one of them. Yeah, feel free to like pull some of those out and see if any of them are.
Ooh,
She's cool.
Quite a
it is
selection.
cool.
Yeah, I love the art in this new set of the game. It had good stuff in the old version, but there's some really good new art in this.
Well, I feel like
Ooh.
this queen is far too new.
Yeah, she seems a little too techno.
Cyberpunk one might be a bit too modern, but very cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's so many of them. Ooh, I love
Ooh.
her.
Fancy.
The one.
She could
That might be the
she
one.
could almost be a
What a
stage
magician.
magician.
Uh-huh.
If we
We'll call
don't
that a
choose
maybe.
her, I'm calling that as Blizz.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh.
I like that.
that's a good point.
Ooh, that one's pretty.
That could be a
Mhm.
magician one
Yeah.
too. It's like it's in a theater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll pull that one aside too. We like this like Jaguar too.
I mean, that
do
one's
like-
super cool.
I like her a lot.
She's probably not a robot.
Probably not.
What a
I
twist.
mean,
Ooh, she's pretty.
Very
yeah.
pretty.
She is pretty.
Ooh. This is giving mystic. Love that.
Yeah. I got a
Ooh,
big
yeah.
ooh. We can set it aside. Still haven't.
Awesome.
Mermaid may not be.
In the middle
I
of
do.
Minnesota, maybe not, but
Oh, can you imagine?
Yeah, it makes complete sense.
Landlocked mermaid.
Oof.
That's some conflict. I love the prom queen.
That's great.
you like the prom
Nice.
queen.
Very 80s, actually. That would have been perfect
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
for current
That's
time.
That's
Ooh.
Alicia's dark side, the prom queen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love oh, that one's
I liked
pretty.
this one.
Wow. I like the symbolism of the death face, but
Mhm.
for some reason the first one really caught, not the first one, but the glamorous one still
The
has
like stage one.
yeah, it's very stage, like perhaps she
Yeah.
is death in behind all of that glamour,
Mhm.
but we'd see only the glamour.
Yeah. Other thoughts?
I mean, the one in the top left, the purple and red one, is definitely reads very stage magician to me.
She
Right.
really does.
Let's go with that then.
I'm torn between the two stage ones, but yeah, I really like.
Yeah,
She's magnificent.
she is. All right. Now I don't remember whose turn it was. Tanya, I think. We'll draw a rules
Oh, I'm
card.
picking. Haha. Find the card that reads, "The queen is under attack. Do you defend her?" and remove it from the question card deck. Then shuffle the remaining question cards and place them face down in the center of the table.
Okay, I did that. Let let me tell you, it was a journey, but yeah. So go, Static, you could do the next card.
Let me get it right. Oh, close. Okay. Place place the card that reads, "The queen is under attack. Do you defend her?" randomly into the middle of the question card deck for a game that lasts about an hour, or into the bottom third of the deck for a game that lasts about 2 hours.
So I have put that card in the bottom third of the deck. That is not easy to do in Roll20. Hey,
No, it's
Roll20,
not.
maybe make that easier. I spent a while on it, but it's there. As long as no one shuffles the deck, it's good.
Oh God.
And I don't know what the order of the cards are, but I know that one's where it should be. So
Thank you for your effort.
I sacrifice for you.
We appreciate
When you
it.
have read the rules cards, take turn. When you have read the rules cards, take turns drawing question cards and reading them aloud. Interpret your card and answer it however you wish.
Oh, is there more rules cards? Okay.
Yeah, they keep going.
10. Other players may ask you questions or make suggestions on your turn, but whether you answer those questions or include those suggestions is entirely up to you.
Place the X card somewhere everyone can easily reach it.
So the X card is at the top of that stack of cards. There it is. Everyone can easily reach it.
If you encounter a question or an answer that you don't want to be included in the game, tap the X card. That content is removed from the game. We love our safety tools.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean, for audio reasons, we could probably just say, I don't like that question, so that it's clear. But if you do want to just keep it silent, feel free. And it's me now. If you draw a card that is removed this way by yourself or someone else, simply draw another card and continue your turn as usual.
Is there another one?
Yeah, the
So
last one
many.
is going to say whoever wants to can take the first turn. That'll be our clue
Oh,
that
okay.
we're done with the rules cards.
All right. 14. You can also choose not to take a turn on. Oh no. What's that word? Oh. You can also choose not to take a turn on any round. To do so, say pass. The next player can answer the question you draw or draw a new one as they prefer.
Continuing answering question cards until the queen is under attack card is drawn.
Each player should answer that question in turn, then the game is over.
Whoever wants to can draw the first question card. You've played this game before. Do you want to go first, or should I?
I do not have a preference, but I like this game, so
Yeah,
I
I'll go
don't
ahead
mind
and draw
going
the
first.
first one. I'll go first. I don't mind. And a word about like you will be representing like an individual character. whoever that is will kind of become clear eventually. Pan, if you want to play Giz, like
I want to
Giz is
so
there.
bad.
So
He's like 20.
hopefully the questions will make it work. Also, Queen Blizzard is there if like that seems like the vibe that somebody's questions are giving them. I don't know who else would be around. That bird lady, Ferdinand Featherington, maybe like family members of characters that we've seen already. But or it can be it can be just like a brand new person. It doesn't have to be somebody referenced in the other game. But just putting it out there that it can be. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a question card. This journey isn't about diplomatic negotiations. What else do you suspect is going on and why? So the journey is we're headed to the Grand Marlin Hotel, where this group of old dude magicians is having their yearly meeting, and it's not about diplomatic negotiations. I think that our queen I think that she wants to do something that is going to massively impact their meeting, like to change it, to disrupt it. I'm not sure exactly what, but I know that this isn't going, or I suspect that this isn't going to be a like cordial, polite negotiation or meeting that's going to happen. And I think I suspect this because I have like caught little glimpses of her practicing her new act, and there's just like I haven't even really seen it fully, but there's something in the tone of her act that she's been putting together that is malevolent. So at this point, if anybody wants to make
I have a
suggestions or
question.
ask follow up, yeah, absolutely.
Is the meeting like the convention itself, or is the meeting gonna be like their performance or whatever at the convention?
So it's not the convention because the convention hasn't become a thing yet. I'm seeing it
Okay.
as like this is a previous thing that eventually evolved into the convention. And
Okay.
I don't know exactly what they do. If anybody has ideas about that, or if we want to like figure that out as we go along, I would welcome it.
I don't know if this is a question for this particular card or just in general, but our heroes from the previous episodes can all do real magic. Can our queen do real magic?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Maybe that's a question for future cards.
Cool.
I would suspect yes, but I don't know if any of our characters know that, but maybe they do.
Excellent.
Okay, if nobody else has like follow-ups or anything, it will be Pan's turn.
Okay. I'm getting a question.
Fingers crossed that it's a Giz question.
Oh, it's a perfect Giz question. When was the last time you the queen embarrassed you? I thought it was I embarrassed the queen, but this also works for Giz. I feel like maybe okay, so the convention doesn't exist yet, but maybe like Magician's Magazine exists.
Ooh.
And the queen in an interview she did for the magazine, she was just offhandedly saying she wouldn't do such tricks as like King Gizzard the lizard wizard. Like they were below her or something. So that she like slighted my art a bit in the last interview she did with the press.
Question.
Yeah.
Is this before Blizzard? Before you met her?
I think I don't know if it's before I've met Blizzard, but it's definitely before we were an act together.
Was your act the same?
He's always had his lizards. He's not always been great with them. Like, he's at like 20 right now.
Yeah. He's actually 19 because this is taking place in 1964.
Okay, so he's like 19, so he's like, look, a lizard. And poof, and he does like one of those like little smoke bombs, tries to make the lizard disappear. But it's nothing like his like friendship he has with his lizards later.
Maybe
Oh,
maybe he meets Blizzard through the Queen.
My guess would be yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely just starting out at this point. So he has the name, he has a lizard, but like is he the king? Not really.
Is the
Oh,
lizard like
is
a
he?
little bearded dragon?
Yeah. Or maybe like
Cute.
a gecko or something.
Oh,
Nice. So is he just Gizzard the lizard wizard? He doesn't have the king yet.
Oh, yeah. I think he's just Gizzard the lizard wizard right now.
Nice. All right. That'll be Tanya's turn.
Okay. When was the last time the queen used you? I guess I'm creating a character now. I'm going to say I'm gonna say recently. I'm gonna say that I am like a handmaid or like someone who used to, pick up her jewelry, polish her jewelry, make sure her jewelry is sitting perfectly on her, that type of thing. Um, and so yeah, I'll say that she still like kind of calls on me regularly because I can shine them really well, and maybe I'll make that a thing.
All right.
Whoever.
So did you work for her like outside of a magic kind of like?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a kind of like a urchin
Oh,
type of situation. And this has been like my one and only job has been to serve her.
interesting. I was gonna say like so she's got money, but she I guess doesn't need to have that much money to employ a street urchin.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I'll
maybe we
say
don't have that answer yet.
I'm thinking she's like, this is the 60s. So it's
Yeah.
not like the 20s where she'd be like rolling in dough. But I'm going to say that like she's the type of person who's used to having money. And I think she obviously has like the look of I am wealth. But I think that's also kind of a show. And so that's why she's employing a street urchin.
I guess how is like do you feel grateful for the opportunity? Do you feel particularly used?
Hmm.
What's that relationship like?
Good question.
Yeah, great question. I keep looking at this picture, and I'm kind of getting a Cruella Deville type vibe here. Especially since Em already kind of said that she has something, up her sleeve, a little malevolent. I think that's her. I mean, she's definitely like a smile on the outside, rip you apart, like when you're behind closed doors type of woman. So I think, unfortunately, I feel very grateful that she's taken me in and that she has given me this, what I consider a prestigious position. But I do think she kind of treats me like crap.
All right, Static, you want to pull a card?
Yeah. Oh. The queen once asked you why you serve her. Did she get an honest answer? She did not. Uh, I think that I am very interested in remaining in the queen's good graces for as long as it serves me to serve her. So I think the answer she got is the one she wanted to hear. That I was very impressed with her abilities and admired her and wanted to model myself after her, which isn't entirely untrue, but left out the very key fact that if I get the opportunity to supplant her, I would do it in a heartbeat.
So you want to be a magician, like a top magician over her? What,
Yes.
what's your like role? How do you serve her?
I think I serve her as a collector of trade secrets
Mm,
of other magicians.
magician spy.
A
Yeah.
spy.
Nice.
Mhm.
So sneaky. Do you have your own like act too that you're
Oh,
working on?
no, of course not. I could never match her.
Oh, oh, she's
But
secretly working
but
on
do
her own
you?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
show.
Yeah, I think she gives the vast majority of the trade secrets that I find to the queen, but I keep a few of my favorites back for myself.
Wow.
M.
Sounds to me like you're Queen Blizzard, but I don't know.
You never
Double
know. You
agent.
never know.
Yeah. Yes.
M,
What?
can
What?
we ask questions that also have to do with like our character's relationship, or is
Oh
that
yeah.
down the line?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you can.
No, you can absolutely. I mean, ask whatever questions you want to.
Okay. Yeah,
But the
for
answer, like the ultimate answer, is going to be up to the person whose turn it is.
okay, okay, okay. Um, okay. Would you what well, man, I don't want to ask a huge question, but I'm kind of thinking because I just kind of created this character to be really grateful of our queen, but I'm wondering how you would treat her, my character, who I think I'm gonna give a name to.
Yeah.
Sure, her name's Penny. Yep.
Oh,
Penny?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that the sweetest urchin name you've ever heard? Yeah,
It
Penny.
really is.
thanks.
As in, doesn't have a.
Oh, that I'm sure that joke has been made a lot.
I know.
I think I would treat Penny with extreme kindness. Giving her, extra little treats anytime I was around, going out of my way to kind of garner her favor for obviously altruistic reasons and not at all because I see her as a potential asset against the queen
Mhm,
in my eventual coup.
mhm. Perfect.
My turn. Oops, that's not the right. That's the wrong deck of cards. Um, the queen knows something about you that no one else does. What is it? Quick question for Tanya. Is Penny a child?
Ooh. Hmm. Yeah, I'm thinking about her in my head. I'm gonna say teenager, so not a child.
Okay. All
let's
right.
go with like 15, 16.
Okay. I was thinking about whether or not my character was a child, and I didn't want to like have two. I'm gonna say that no. My character has a child. My character is a not a magician, but kind of like a professional like stage manager, kind of like sets stuff up, does like paperwork, kind of a like assistant in a general sort of way. And he has a young child, like 5 or 6 years old, who's often tagging along. And what the queen knows is that my son is actually her son.
Interesting. You guys are sharing
What?
sons.
Yes.
Platonically, of course.
Uh,
Wait, so wait, so your
she is
son?
the child's mother. I am the child's
Okay.
father. But no one knows that
Oh.
she's his mother.
Oh. Single daddy.
Scandal.
That's juicy.
It so is. I love how dramatic our magicians are.
Yeah.
Any questions or suggestions there?
How old is this kid?
Yeah.
7 years old.
Hmm.
I think the question is, does the kid know?
Ooh, that's a good
No,
question.
Mm.
and
Dun
I
dun
I
dun.
haven't decided yet how she interacts with the kid. So
Hmm.
don't ask me that. But not in a way that it is clear that she's his mother.
So it's a son.
Yes.
Yeah. Do we know?
No, no one else knows. That's what the card
Hmm.
says.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Huh. Does this kid look like
I mean, what does she even look like without her makeup and her wig? And I guess Penny maybe is the one who knows that.
Yeah, yeah.
How dare you imply that's not her natural hair?
All right, Pan, you want to go?
Yeah, sorry, I was just coughing. Ask you a question. Oops.
Ooh,
The queen
oh.
has a pet name for you. Do you appreciate it? Ooh. Mm, my name is almost a pet name as it is. Um.
Does she use your real name?
Oh. Ooh. I bet she does. If she does, I really don't like that. Yeah, the queen's pet name for me is my real name because she knew me before when I was not with the lizards.
You weren't among the lizards.
I was not among the lizards.
All right, what's the name?
Oh, should I tell you? I don't know.
I don't know. Are we ready for that kind of secret?
Are you?
Guess
It's a big
I guess that's
secret.
I guess that's up to you because it just says the queen has a pet name for you.
Yeah.
Just like add like a beep sound, like redacted to this part of the podcast, like nobody can know.
I'm not gonna reveal Giz's real name unless we have
Okay,
a conversation with the queen later, and then I'll have to have
yeah.
somebody know what it is.
Yeah, that's another thing. Something that that we did with this game when we did Scream Queen was just like if there's a like stuff coming up that's interesting and you all want to just play out like role play a scene, we can do that and should do that because it's fun. So just if that ever happens. I don't think this is the point of that, but yeah. My guess is his name is Bernard.
I think it's Gizabeth.
Gizabeth?
Uh-huh.
Elizabeth.
Uh-huh.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did the queen give you your first lizard?
No, I'm gonna say I caught it.
Okay.
Of course.
No, she really looks down on my lizards, which is
Yeah.
the whole like why she embarrassed me in a magazine.
One other question. Do your lizards like shiny things?
Oh, let's see. I guess a gecko would sort of like a shiny thing. They like moving things because bugs. But I guess it would depend on the lizard and how well I trained it. Like his later lizards are definitely trained to pick pockets. Like, ooh, a shiny thing. I'll take this. Like like a raven would be. But like I don't think the early ones would have that level of training.
Okay.
But lizards do tend to like snap at things that move really fast because they think it's a bug. So maybe that was a vague answer. Sorry.
Vague answer to a mysterious question.
Yeah.
All right, Tanya, it's your turn.
Okay. What makes you want to abandon the retinue? And who besides the queen makes you stay? So, before I answer this, another quick question to Pan. Your character, Giz, is he dating? That's such a weird way to ask that.
I mean, yes. Like he's
He's
been a
dating
hound
other-
dog since he was 16 for sure. So like,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. I'm gonna say definitely as I get older, as Penny gets older, getting into 16, 7, or I'm gonna say she's 16, getting into 17, 18. I think she's getting a little tired of what she would consider like being a nobody. and kind of being under the queen's foot. And so I think that makes her want to abandon everything. But I'll say she kind of has a little crush on somebody. You know? Could be anybody. But she kind of has a little crush on somebody. So she stays for that.
Have you come close to leaving?
Maybe, I don't know, like, if we've always, because I think I'm going to assume I was here first if I was snatched up as an urchin. So maybe when I was by myself, um, I thought about it, but then never knew how I would continue to survive without her. And then when Giz and whoever the other woman's name is, 'cause I don't think we have a name for her yet. I think she starts to see them as, like, companions. So now I think she's seeing that she might be able to have a life out of this situation. So yeah, I think when she was younger and by herself.
Does
I
the
imagine the queen has like always had a circle of people floating around, and they probably like are constantly changing.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's one of those situations of, like, especially since I was probably young, it's like a kid being around, without a parent, really. But now that I'm older, I think I'm actually able to make friends.
So do you think like the queen has been touring with her magic act and like that's kind of how you were able to like get into like this like weird circulating group?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. That makes sense.
does the queen know that you have this crush?
Ooh. Hmm.
Might be a question for a future card.
I was gonna say, that might be a role play thing to see if, like, she would be able to get it out of me, because Cruella de Vil, she's a smart woman, and she's really manipulative. Um. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know yet.
Next card, then.
Oh,
Ooh,
Oh
whoa,
my gosh.
the queen is
got hot fast.
It sure did. Went from crushes to this. Uh, the queen is responsible for the death of someone you loved. Ooh, what happened? Oh, um, the queen is responsible for the death of my older brother. Uh, my older brother was a magician. I keep wanting to say musician. Uh, both. He was a musician and a magician.
Excellent.
And I think he was trying out like a partner's act with the queen, and she like something went wrong with the set, a trick went bad, and I think in a twist of the stereotype, he ended up getting sawed in half, literally.
Ooh, yikes.
That's a very unfortunate trick.
Yeah, it did not end well. I don't know. I don't think she's reattempted it.
Was it
And
a like mechanical malfunction or like did she mess it up?
I I think it's kind of TBD. I'm picturing a like those boxes where like they have the big wobbly sheets of metal that like cut people in half, quote unquote, and they open the box.
Yeah.
I think it was that kind of trick, but either accidentally or intentionally, those big wobbly sheets of metal ended up actually being sharp.
Oh no.
So we're
Yikes.
not according to the police, it was a tragic accident.
Were
Whether or
you
not it was.
already working for her when this happened?
Yes. I think well, technically I think I was working for my brother. And then after his tragic demise, she kindly took me on. With the implication that I was in fact my brother's magic craft spy as well.
Oh. Intrigue.
Dun dun dun.
This woman's got a lot of baggage.
Real 180 from our previous question.
Yeah. Okay, another question. How did maybe the question is, did the queen treat you differently after it happened?
Ooh.
Oh, no. I think she just kind of absorbed me into her retinue and continued to act like everything was perfectly normal.
Times. Right, I'm pulling a card. I
Quick.
keep getting the wrong cards. Why do I keep doing that? I'm just going to get rid of that deck. Okay. When was the last time the queen was gentle with you? I think within the last year or so, I had and keeping this secret, I came to her and I think at first demanded that she like be involved in our son's life. And I don't think that demanding goes over well with this person. So it shifted into pleading, and her answer was no. But whether she was being manipulative here or whether there was like some genuine affection, I guess is open to interpretation. But she let down her very like rigid facade and like said kind words and was gentle, was nice and sweet, and calmed me down and talked me off the ledge, and seemed to be like shifting into a kinder relationship. But ultimately the answer was still no. She will not be involved in the boy's life, and it's going to remain a secret, and that's how it is. And that was the last time she was gentle with me.
Dun dun dun.
Interesting. When was the
Wait,
first
does
time?
that? Yeah.
It's not what the question says.
Follow up.
I mean, I imagine the first time was probably sometime before the kid was born.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what like how deep or how like real the relationship was, but there was something at least that produced a baby. um,
Was it like a? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you like said that was the last time she was gentle with me. Has she been real rough with you after that?
I think she's not a gentle person in general. Um, from everything that everyone's described so far, she's maybe it puts on a smile, puts on an act very well, but is self-interested and doesn't consider other people's feelings. Or at least that's the way she is with my character. And my character's name, for the record, is Clyde Williams.
Clyde. I like it.
Clyde.
Clyde, like Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did she ever give a reason for not wanting to be in your son's life?
I think she probably gave a lot of reasons that that she's just not a mother, that she couldn't possibly do anything good for him, that it like switches between this is the best thing for everyone and this is the best thing for me, that it would ruin her career and there are so many people depending on her career, and it doesn't fit with her image, and what would people say about her being with Clyde, and there are definitely a lot of reasons, and they change constantly.
Brutal.
What do you think? I mean, I don't want to ask this question, but I think I will. Do you think do you think she like cares for you or loves you in some way?
I think of myself as an important and treasured member of her staff.
Ouch.
Oh.
And I think I'm happy about that.
I can't decide if that makes it worse or not.
Sounds like that's the end of my turn.
Yep. Here we go. What do you do for the queen that anyone else could? And why does she make you do it? Oh. That anyone else could. Hmm. My initial instinct was like, get her coffee. Because I feel like anybody could do that.
Yeah.
And the reason why she would make me do it is because I'm not fancy. So I don't like understand coffee shops properly. So just like it really entertains her to have me go do it
Oh
because
my gosh.
just like I don't know, a venti the big ones. Yeah, I
So,
think that's it.
so just because it's funny to her?
Oh yeah, because
Good.
I am unclassy.
Do you still manage to get the orders right most of the time?
Most of the time, because also I'm only 19 and Giz was for sure handsome when he was younger. So like normally they're like, oh, sweet, sweet dumb boy. Here.
Mhm.
You mean this. And he's
Got
like, oh, well, ain't you just the sweetest thing that has ever walked the planet? Thank you so much. Here's my number.
He's got that big himbo energy.
What?
He's got that big himbo energy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Probably half the time Penny has to go get a cup of coffee for her immediately afterward. That's actually correct.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, even when you do come back with it, how does she respond?
Um, my guess is she just like kind of takes it and it like it's nothing. Like she like barely acknowledges that I did it for her, type thing. She's like, "Oh, good, you did it."
Oh, I was gonna say, do you ever ask Penny to help you or get it for you?
How old is Penny?
I'm gonna say she's 16.
Oh, yeah. Then, yeah. She's not that much younger than me. You're smarter than me. You went to school for like 2 more years than I did.
I don't think Penny went to school. But she would probably let you believe. It's impressive to you.
You at least have like a 6th grade amount of knowledge, and
Right.
she has like a 4th grade amount of knowledge.
Oh, no.
Right.
All right, Tanya, you want to pull a card?
All right. The queen trusts you, but no one else in the royal court does. Huh? The queen trusts you, but no one else in the royal court does. Oh, why? Oh.
Yeah, that's none of us.
Oh, interesting. Well, yeah, why would she trust me? There might have been some transference that went on. Things how she has a kid, but then she picked up a street urchin and kind of
Oh,
raised it,
yeah.
right? What a, so I'm wondering if yeah, I think maybe she is like bonded to me, not healthily, but and perhaps she is uncharacteristically like I'm like a no touch subject. Like I can kind of like I don't do this, but like if I wanted to, I would kind of be able to get away with murder. I think she dismisses when everyone's like, "Why do you keep have that girl around? She should be doing other things." And she's like, "Don't talk about Penny. Let's move on." And I think that annoys the
Oh.
court.
Is that why no one else trusts you?
Sure. I don't really know. Um, yeah, maybe it's just the fact that she does trust me because I don't think she trusts anybody.
Are
Interesting.
you aware that you kind of have this special layer of trust and privilege, or are you oblivious to it?
I don't think she understands that it extends to anyone else but the queen, like I wouldn't even say she's ever been like around the royal court, whoever those people are, unless she was just like in the background or doing something in the background. Like, she's kind of like not seen, not heard type of situation. So I don't even think that she thinks they even know who she is.
I'm loving this dynamic.
I know.
Are you ready for another card?
Think so.
Hmm. Oh my goodness.
I keep getting the fun ones. The queen once had you punished. Uh, what about the memory of that will stay with you forever? Oh gosh.
That was the first card I pulled when we played this for the podcast
Jeez.
before.
Wow. Um, I think I think it is how mundane life was while the queen was punishing me. I think her punishment was making me do her day-to-day scheduling and meetings and booking flights and hotel rooms and just the most gut-wrenchingly boring things from my point of view.
Hey, that's my job.
Okay, no offense. But compared to the tasks that she usually gives me, Avery, I think will be my name, Avery.
Ooh.
Nice.
Given the usual kind of subterfuge of Avery's role, having to book things was just torture while it lasted. And I think it very much solidified that a 9 to 5 is not my bag.
Why did she make you do that?
I think I got caught.
Ooh.
I was not only not successful in getting some juicy secrets from one of her rivals, but I got caught doing it, and she had to put a lot of effort into covering that up, making sure her reputation wasn't tarnished. And if I was going to be that bad at doing the behind the scenes sneaky stuff, she was going to make me do the mundane stuff as punishment.
Both times we've played this game, our queens turn out to be real divas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen her?
Kind of how the game is structured a little bit. But had a question. What was like the vibe of her dishing out this punishment?
I think it started out as I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. And then very quickly morphed into this is all you're good for anyway, until you prove otherwise.
Ooh. Was Clive doing the booking during that time? Like, did you have to work with him?
I think Clyde was kind of my keeper, making sure that I didn't screw up anything that she needed me not to screw up. Like I didn't book her on a red eye or anything, but was otherwise largely hands off.
And I wish I could ask Clive things.
I mean, I don't. I think you can.
Yeah.
Well,
Is there like
like,
a scene here, or
was it,
like?
yeah, or was it like a vacation for Clive? Like, was he upset that his job was sort of being used as a punishment?
I think Clyde one was stressed out about having someone else do the job, and also um had some like sadistic delight in having someone beneath him for a change, and probably made it worse.
Avery will remember this.
Did you ask anything of Penny during your time?
I think I maintained my air of, really deep magnanimity towards Penny as much as I could. I was probably a bit shorter with her than I would have been. But I think aside from maybe just keep me company over lunch or something and let's chat, let's gossip a little bit. I don't think her interactions with Penny changed that much. I will say she very specifically only ever asks Penny for help with very simple tasks that won't make Penny's life more difficult, and then reacts in a way that Penny has just done her a massive favor.
Hmm.
We ready for another card?
Yeah.
I think so.
I got the right card this time.
Good job.
Yay.
The queen ordered you to do something you knew you would regret. Have you forgiven yourself for doing it? So I want this to be, I said at the beginning that she's dabbling in stuff that she shouldn't be dabbling in, ancient, esoteric, magical things. I want this to have something to do with that. Okay. I'm just gonna throw this out there, and we can say whether or not it's what we want it to be. She had me replace the fake blades in the cut a person in half contraption.
Oh, I love that.
What? Murderer.
I don't know why I laughed so hard at that.
An accomplice. I'm not a murderer. And
No, she's the murderer. She's the one that put the blades in.
and I did it, obviously. And I think this is going to change what I said just on Static's last question. But I have definitely not forgiven myself for doing it. Part of me thinks that it was the right thing to do because it was necessary, but I still feel just like constantly sick about it. And when Avery was forced to do my job, I was not delighting in having someone beneath me. I was trying my best to make it as easy as possible for her because of the guilt.
Had it been anyone else, he would have been reveling.
Probably. Who's to say?
Why was it necessary?
Some like a sacrifice. I'm
like-
not sure exactly.
See, I thought you were gonna go even darker, but I like that because he has a kid by her, and she's dabbling in dark magic.
Oh my god!
That's what I was thinking. I know, that's me. Thanks.
Love that.
Maybe the two are related somehow.
So she does do real magic.
Yeah, she's gotten access to something through my help.
Cthulhu.
We went right to the top.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I mean, I guess
now the big scary bugs really make sense.
I mean, she does kind of look like a Cruella de Vil meets Ursula Cross, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, how old is she? She looks great.
Who knows?
Timeless.
She's been sacrificing people. She could be a million.
Mm-hmm.
Are we all in Florida? Is she like a Miami magic performer? Like the other part of Florida?
I mean, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
She plays for the blue hairs. The retiree crowd.
I guess I don't really know what Miami was like in the 60s, but I imagine it having like swinging, like Cuban influenced nightlife scene.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
She can also give Vegas.
Yeah, definitely.
She could definitely give Vegas.
I just wonder how she would have hooked up with Giz otherwise.
Yeah. How did she hook up with Giz? How did she find all of us? I mean, I know that we said that she travels a lot, so maybe that's how she does it. She just
if she went on tour with her show, a tour could go all over the country, even back in the
Yeah.
60s, you know?
Just picks up orphans along the way.
That's what it seems like.
She's got a big magic show. She travels with 6 tractor trailers. She only plays huge venues.
Excellent. All right, are we ready for a Giz question?
Yeah.
Sure.
Totally.
Yeah. It always drops it outside of the box. The
Oh my
queen made
God.
the queen made a dire threat before this journey began. Do you think she will carry it out? Ooh. Probably. Knowing what we know about her now.
Right.
Put it faster.
I feel like can I jump off of the last question?
Sure.
If she made a dire threat at me, I have a feeling that Giz is in on the dark magic a little bit, but she made the threat. If you tell anybody, you're the next sacrifice.
Oh my God. We're learning so much about you, Giz.
I know.
Your younger days were wild, is what you're
Wild.
saying.
Just absolutely wild.
Just thought it was all dealers, but no. So does Giz then know that Avery's brother was the first question mark sacrifice?
I don't think he's been with her long enough to know the people that she's sacrificed before, but he knows there have been, and he knows the method by which she is keeping herself young and successful.
Ooh.
So I don't think he specifically knows that it was Avery's brother was the last one, but he knows that Avery's brother died mysteriously, and he knows that there have been sacrifices made. So if he was a little bit smarter, he probably would have figured it out.
Why is Giz dabbling in this dark magic with her?
I don't think it was on purpose.
Of course.
I think I don't think he like is practicing the dark magic. I think he knows about it from his circles in the South and recognized parts of it from growing up in the very dark parts of the South that he grew up in.
So you just know about it.
I just know what it is. Like, I saw her doing it and was like, hey, that's this. And she was like, if you tell anybody, you're in big trouble.
Was the threat direct, really spelled out? You were going to be, I guess for Giz, she probably had to.
Yeah, absolutely. She had to.
She tried to be subtle, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay."
He's like, we're gonna go out for dinner, or you want to go make out in a closet, or
I'm going to cut you in half and use your blood to fuel my magical powers.
oh, right, okay, that's different, right? I will shut up. Yep.
Now, and you don't have to answer this. Is Giz actually keeping it a secret? Does he at least tell his lizard?
Oh, he definitely tells his lizard, for sure. but I think he's trying real hard to keep it a secret. Like, he doesn't want to die, and he's not stupid. Like, he knows she's really powerful if she's using this type of magic. But I'm sure somebody could get it out of him at some point in the future.
What do you do that pleases the queen on this journey? I guess I'll answer that other question that I didn't know about because I think it works well here. I think the queen does know that I have a crush on somebody. And I think it pleases her that I am, I guess, keeping an eye. Like, because I think she believes that I truly am 100% loyal to her because she trusts me.
Yeah.
So it's good for her to see me, constantly around this person, watching this person, making sure that I'm like always talking, see how they're doing, so that if this person slips up on the little secret they're supposed to be keeping,
Ooh.
she's pretty sure I would report that.
Does she ask you to like give her information about what's going on with the people around her?
No, I think she doesn't see me as a spy. I think she does, in a weird kind of mommy dearest type of way, see me as a daughter,
Hmm.
but like she's kind of trash at actually raising anything.
Right.
So
You don't
so
say.
yeah. So it's a very much like Cinderella's stepmother is being slightly kind to you while you like polish her jewels type of situation, where I've gotten used to that because I've been with her for years, and I think that's what this is going to be really sad, but that's what I think my mother's love looks like. so so yeah, I think she just kind of, I tend to tell her things in confidence about like me, but she doesn't ask me to talk about other people or find out information. So I think she is pleasantly like surprised that I'm kind of doing this on my own volition.
Hmm.
Do you have any idea that someone may know a secret about her?
Ooh, I'm thinking maybe I would accidentally have overheard some like, like chambermaid gossip or like whispers, like when she's having meetings, because I'm like imagining that I'm like always around her. So even when she's doing like private things. But would I? How loyal am I? I think I'm still quite loyal. So
We know
I'm
that
gonna
you
say
want to escape, or like you
right,
think about a life outside of that.
right, yeah. But I don't ever do it because I do think there's still like a super unhealthy bond. Super unhealthy. So yeah, I think she would know like a few secrets, that she may have like heard or perhaps overheard.
Do you
But
think
oh,
Penny
go ahead.
still sees the queen as good from knowing those secrets?
Ah, man. Well, I guess that depends on if I know about her dark magic. Because I'm gonna say I'm very, very much like my other character, Ryse, I think I have a natural real magic affinity. And that's most likely why she took me in. But I'm not a magician. Like I don't put it on display. So yeah, unfortunately, I think even when I learn her secrets, I think I'm still pretty well brainwashed to believe that she's the only mother I've ever had.
Yeah, it's like all you know.
Yeah.
So
I'm starting to
tragic.
wonder if Penny is Queen Blizzard.
Oh, maybe.
Ooh. She's only a couple years younger than Giz. It'll be less creepy in like 10 years.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest age gap we have.
I know.
No, it's not.
All right.
Yeah, and I will just clarify that, like, I think at this point we know our queen pretty well. I don't think the pleases is like I don't think I don't think she's ever showed me that emotion about the things I've ever done, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
She's very narcissistic about her please.
right, yeah.
Zero positive reinforcement.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you all think our queen's name is?
Evil.
Evil.
Live, which is evil backwards.
That was
Yeah.
definitely going to say Olivia.
I'm feeling like she would definitely have like a formal stage name that she
Yeah.
almost always
Absolutely.
goes by. Yeah, that's gonna be very flashy, and it might even be something with Queen. And maybe that's where Blazer gets from.
Is it way too on the nose for her to go by like Antoinette?
I
Ooh.
like it.
I
Love
like
it.
that.
Yeah. All right. Antoinette.
Hey. Oh. What question do you wish you could ask the queen? What keeps you from asking it? I mean, I think there's an obvious answer here.
It really is.
I think, no, Avery desperately wants to ask the queen if she intended to kill her brother. And I think what keeps her from asking it is, I think in her heart of hearts, Avery already knows the answer.
Mm.
And I think even more than that, she knows that the queen will either lie to her or tell her the truth, which will almost guarantee that her life will be in similar danger.
That is definitely a no-win situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has in the way that you and Penny have kind of been together, like either gossiping or chatting, have you ever tried to like bring up your brother in that situation just to kind of see if like Penny has a reaction?
Yes, but I think that I have done it in a way that was masked as, oh, I'm so grateful that the queen kept me around even after the tragedy. It must be so hard for her to have me around as a reminder, and kind of trying to gauge how much of that Kool-Aid Penny's drinking.
Mm. Another question, and it's still kind of about that, but would you test these waters like once in a while, or did you just do that once?
I think she probably tests them whenever it feels like a natural point to bring it up. Maybe around like the anniversary of his death. If Penny were to ask, like, "Oh, how are you doing? Are you feeling okay about this?" She would kind of respond with that similar line to see where Penny's at.
Mm.
Right. Are we ready to move on from that?
Mm-hmm.
Cheerful line of thought.
Yes. The Queen thinks more highly of you than you do of yourself. How do you know this?
Oh.
Ah,
Toxic relationship you're in.
yeah.
Right.
I trying to wrap my brain around this one. I suppose she definitely trusts me with a lot. She believes that I'm capable of more than I think that I'm capable of because she keeps like shouldering me with these responsibilities of keeping the secret of her child, of raising the child, of being an accomplice to murder, probably more than once. I think maybe this is a weird interpretation of more highly, but I think that she thinks that I'm bolder than I really am, or than I think that I am, that I can like stand stand up in the face of these like eerie things that we're doing and the things that we're messing with. And I think kind of like that scene with where I was begging her to take part in her child's life. She says it outright sometimes where I will be like I can't do this. I'm not strong enough to do this. I'm not the right person for this, and she will just say straightforward like you are. I know that you are. I see this in you. And that other card was when was the last time she was gentle with you? So I don't think that this is a gentle reinforcement of that, but it's a like very straightforward, almost a command telling me to be the person who can do these things.
How how does that make you feel? Like, does her confidence in you give you confidence?
Yes. And then it fades, it wanes, and then it comes back, and she thinks more highly of me than I do of myself. So I think that lack of confidence comes back because that's my natural state. But I want to believe that I am what I think that she sees in me.
Do you think she's being honest with you?
Yes, absolutely.
Okie dokie. When was the last time you had the Queen's undivided attention, and do you hope to have it again? Mm, no.
Mhm.
I think the last time I had her undivided attention, it was the night that she threatened me. I think most of the rest of the time, when I'm interacting with her, she's in a group and we're like working through something or getting ready for a show or something. Like, I don't think I'm part of the group that's ever like alone with her.
Could there have been a time when she was like, show me your act?
Mm, maybe if there was, it was like seeing me do card tricks or practicing card tricks backstage and being like, show me the best you got. Kind of like on the spot, not like I'm going to actually watch your whole act. It's more like, show me like one thing.
How did it go?
I think it went okay. Like, I'm good with my hands. I'm good at being fast with my hands. So I feel like that one trick went pretty good. But like, do I have a ton more? Not really. I'm kind of here as the muscle man to pick things up and put them down. And she doesn't like Lizzie the lizard, so I don't think she's ever been like, maybe you'll be an opener for me. I don't think she's ever given me that kind of hope.
Yeah.
But like I perform, like she'll do her big show at the theater and I'll go do like a bar in town. You know?
Yeah.
So she doesn't stop me from doing my magic acts, but she also is like very unimpressed.
Does she at least let you like do a little stuff on stage while they like clean it up afterwards?
Oh yeah, like I'm here to help pack trucks. Like I'm gonna pick things up and put things down and like don't let the stage hands see how this trick works as we put it away type person.
So she doesn't like your lizards, but does she
No.
allow them in her presence, or do you have to keep them away from her?
Well, I think at the moment I don't have like lizards. I have Liz the lizard.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that she's just always on my shoulder. And that's kind of where I picked up the habit is this is the lizard that started that habit for him for the rest of his life of always having one that's his companion. So I think she doesn't really have a choice about the lizard being there, but she's not gonna like touch it. And Liz probably hides like in my shirt pocket when the queen shows up.
She knows.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god. When did you know you were in love with the queen?
No.
Like ass.
I'm gonna interpret this as platonic love.
Like filial love.
Yeah.
Remember, you can also pass if like is just not if this just isn't the card for you.
You know what? I think this is good. It's just
Okay.
I'm just gonna interpret it as, you know, not in love that way, romantically. But I definitely do think that Penny is I'll say that Penny does love her, but I think it's very complicated. Because I think she's always believed that. You know, I don't think she actually knows what like a healthy relationship is or what love looks like. So, of course, when she was taken in at a very young age, I'm gonna say 5. I'm gonna say she was taken in at 5 years old. Yeah, I'm gonna say at that point is when she was like, "Oh, someone took me in and is in feeding me and clothing me," and she's like agelessly pretty and bedazzled. So you know, you kind of become infatuated with this person, and I think she thinks that's love.
Did she like legally adopt you, or like
Great
just some kind of
question.
weird like?
Oh, you know, actually, that might be which is weird because she has a child. But that
Really
might be a
interesting.
I
later.
know. But that might be a component of maybe why the inner circle or the royal court also doesn't trust me. Maybe, like when you have to like write who would maybe like take over your stuff or if anything ever happened to you, like your emergency person, perhaps she
Uh,
always puts me.
okay.
But I don't know if they'd be paperwork.
Okay.
And if there was paperwork, don't know if it'd be, up to scrutiny. I feel like she's that type of I feel like she's that type of woman.
Interesting.
Are you ready for the next one?
I think
Mhm.
so.
Oh,
Hmm.
other than the queen, there is someone else in this retinue that you love. Why are you keeping it a secret? Hmm.
I don't have a lot of choices here.
No, I think
I mean, you could also totally make a whole nother person.
Yes, you
whole other
could.
person. Um, I'm tempted to reach queen levels of toxicity here, uh, and say that it's Clyde.
Ooh.
I think that.
Another option would be Clyde's son. Like different
Oh,
form of love.
yeah,
He's 7
different
years
form
old,
of
but
love.
yeah,
Mhm.
Hmm, that's kind of
just to
tempting.
throw out there.
Yeah, I like that. We'll say the son. I think that she might almost think of Clyde's son as a little brother to replace her older brother.
Oh,
Oh.
I think that she had a very good relationship with her older brother, but it was like a little sister idolizing kind of relationship. And I think that Clyde's son, does the son have a name?
yes. His name is Marcus.
Marcus. I think she I think as kind of a coping mechanism for the loss of her brother, she kind of became very protective of Marcus, who I imagine is probably the only like young child around right now.
Yeah. So what about the second part of that card?
Why are you keeping it a secret?
Yeah.
She obviously doesn't know Marcus's connection to the queen.
Mhm.
Uh and I don't know if his connection to the queen would necessarily matter to the queen. But I think she's keeping it a secret because she doesn't want the queen to have anything to hold over her head. I think she shows Marcus a similar affection to that she shows Penny and any other member of the retinue that's a little bit younger than her. But it's more genuine and less manipulative toward Marcus. And I think that genuineness carries a vulnerability with it that she wouldn't want the queen to exploit.
Interesting.
Just feel bad for Avery.
Yeah. How old is
No,
Avery?
I think she's probably in her late 20s, maybe early 30s at this point.
Okay.
How old? I mean, I guess how old's the queen is another
That's a
question.
that's a good question.
Well, how old does the queen appear?
Yeah.
How old does she tell people? Uh, I think at this point, Avery's probably hovering around 30.
I imagine the queen like in her 40s, maybe like
Yeah.
early 40s.
Yeah.
All right.
At least that's what she's telling
Yep.
everybody.
She's been 43 for a long time.
Yeah.
Ooh, huh. You sometimes think you might be the queen's favorite. Why? And why does this worry you? I think I actually want to pass on this. I don't think this fits.
Fair.
Okay.
Does anybody else want to take that card, or do you think I should just draw a new one?
Yeah, I don't think Penny feels like she's the favorite either.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
feel like the queen is the queen's favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to draw a different one. Some would say the queen is not your queen. Why do you serve her anyway? Well, I
Yeah, you're
am
not married
actually,
to her.
yeah, I'm actually employed by the order of, and decide a name for this other organization of magicians. The Mysterious Order of Magician. No, that's the MOM. It's not the mom.
Esoteric Order of Magicians.
Okay, I like that. The EOM. I'm actually employed, like formally and officially, by the Esoteric Order of Magicians, the organization that our group is going to meet and disrupt and something broker a peace. I don't know. And I think I'm not a magician. I am like a paperwork stage hand stage manager professional, but I
Production
officially
manager.
and formally work for them. And uh, all of us know that I work for the queen as well, but they don't. Um, and I serve her anyway because I like fully 100% believe in her and adore her.
Gross.
A lot to unpack there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Why did the EOM hire you? Like, did they hire you specifically to work for her?
No, they don't even know that I work for her. They hired me to work for them to like manage their accounts and to handle like the shipping of their props to different places and um,
So
organizing the
you're
minutes from
working.
their
You're
meetings.
working like 2 jobs.
Yeah, I'm working 2 jobs
Wow.
and raising a child
Wow.
You know,
Very
in
impressive.
the 60s.
the
Definition of
dedicated,
a single dad.
right? It's dedicated. You love to see it.
Is this
And
job with the queen like under the table or are you getting paid?
um, I think I don't think I'm getting paid. I think I'm getting paid in like this is a cause that I believe in.
Wow.
Glad to be
You're
here.
volunteering.
No.
I don't even think of it as volunteering. I think of it as like helping out this like amazing person.
Hmm.
Like I am her
And
trusted
she
advisor.
really got you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
he's deep in the Kool-Aid.
And and I don't think it's like constant work for the other organization either. Like they are separate people and I like organize events for them and that kind of thing. But it's probably not a full-time gig with them either.
Does the queen know you work for them?
Oh yeah.
Does the queen like, pay your bills and living expenses?
What do y'all think?
I don't know, it's coming off a little sugar mommy-ish.
Yeah, I feel like if you're raising the kid and you have a second job,
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, probably. But I don't see it that way.
She's just such a good person that, of course, she's
Yes.
providing for her
Mhm.
trusted advisor.
Right. And her child, who I know she loves, even though she,
She literally never shows it.
yes, and
She
insists on
just
keeping a
wants
secret.
what's best for the child,
Yes.
which is her zero involvement.
It's and honestly, I think she's probably right.
You know what? Fair. Given how Penny's doing.
Yeah. All right, I think that's my question.
Okie dokie.
What a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So toxic. All right. The queen
Yeah.
once offered you comfort. What about the memory will stay with you forever? Hmm. My brain went to some very fun dark places. Um.
I was just
Yeah.
waiting for another dealer reference.
um.
Go to the dark side.
I mean,
I've already
that's
cut a man in half.
kind of a thought I had. I feel like I was real tired at the end of a day and was just like sitting very dejected, feeling like I wasn't getting anywhere in life, and was just sitting down and kind of like not like weeping, but like crying a little bit because life is tough. And the queen came by and kind of picked my chin up and was like, "It's all right, son. One day you'll die." And the way she said it was really sad and just rang in my head, knowing what I know,
Mm.
that maybe that is a luxury.
Wow. I hope this woman is dead in the future.
Dun dun dun.
Smash cut to the final episode.
Yeah.
We'll see. So what is it about the memory that stays with you forever then?
The way like she said it, like very sad and haunted, like it was a thing she wished she could have done.
Hmm.
Was this before or after she threatened to kill you?
Oh, it's after she threatened to kill me, so she knows that I know that she's sacrificing people to do some kind of dark magic.
Did any part of you perceive that statement as a threat?
Not a threat to me necessarily, but as a like cautionary tale maybe, you know?
Like a memento mori kind of thing.
Yeah, like don't do what I'm doing cuz then you'll never die. You'll
Yeah.
not be happy about it.
Is that why Giz from then on lives life in the moment?
I feel like yeah, he's like, "Hey, I'm alive and one day I'm going to die. So I better do all of it all at once right now."
All because a horrible person said a horrible thing to you.
Yes.
Good stuff. All right. Next card, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is the distant power you are traveling to, and why do they make you uneasy? So we're going somewhere specific, right? Where are we going again?
We're going to the Grand Marlin Hotel. to the meeting of the Esoteric Order of Magicians. But by all means, tell us more about them and why they make you
Oh,
uneasy.
I am going to say that they also have people who do dark magic, and that's kind of the people she fears because she knows what the queen does. I guess I'm making that decision now. Yeah, I'm gonna say that Penny does know that she's doing something horrible. I'm gonna say she doesn't know that she's sacrificing people. Um, so I think she understands though that there's a group that's like in her queen's inner circle that also practice these dark ways, which obviously makes her uneasy because she's kind of in the shadows. Most like probably on purpose, obviously, but since she knows that what they're doing is bad, but she doesn't know what they're doing,
Mm,
and she doesn't want to be with a bunch of them.
yeah.
Yeah, one's quite enough.
More than enough.
Do you hear somehow from the Queen that these people are bad and that you should avoid them? Because I think they're her enemies.
Um, I don't think she hears that they're bad, but I think she kind of knows based on like the other things that she does for the queen. Perhaps she's, been there helping her with her hair while she's like on the phone or something like that. Um, I know that even though they're not on the same side, they're still all practicing the same things. So they still got to get like their materials and um like they still have to have some sort of connection with each other, almost like really nasty coworkers to one another.
Does she think that like these people are a threat to the queen? Or are they just dangerous to be around for Penny?
I think just dangerous to be around.
Oh,
The same
well,
one,
it's a little
kind of.
bit different. You sometimes think of one member of the retinue as the queen's favorite. Who? What makes you think this? I mean, this one's kind of a slam dunk. It's gotta be Penny.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think it's just I mean, like I've seen the way the queen reacts to other people reacting to Penny. I've seen the way that Penny interacts with the queen. Uh, it's very apparent to Avery that if there was anything in the world that the queen might have something resembling affection for other than herself, maybe it's Penny if you squint. And she certainly seems to, if not trust, then rely. I don't know that Avery thinks the queen is capable of trusting or relying on anyone, but if she were, it would be Penny.
So what's like the balance in Avery's mind of feeling like this is something that you can leverage for your favor or something that is like dangerous to you?
I I don't think she perceives Penny as a threat to her personally. Uh, I think she's been very cautious in all of her interactions with Penny, and she thinks that she has built up a very friendly and good relationship with Penny. Whether or not that's the case, I will let Tanya decide. Um, I think the biggest question for Avery is how willing she is to leverage Penny against the Queen if and when it comes to that. And I don't think she's decided yet. Because there is some affection and recognition of the situation that Penny's in.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't entirely rule out using her either.
All right, I'm gonna get a card. What do you do for the queen that no one else could? Is another kind of obvious one, maybe.
There's a couple ways to answer that one.
There are so many things. I'm gonna say that it's provide her with information on the Order of Magicians. Other people could help her with the like bloody stuff, but no one else is in a position to give her that information from the inside.
Do you think she's specifically tasked him with giving her that information?
Yes, yes. I think it's very clear, like that's a big part of his job and his value.
Is that clear to other people in the court or in the inner circle?
That's a good question. It kind of depends on what anyone. Okay, so Giz doesn't know anything about that. Penny, well, I don't know about Penny. I would say Avery probably does know, since your whole job is gathering secrets about magicians. You would probably know that I'm in some way like a spy or a double agent, or just that I'm like placed with this other organization.
Do you think we've ever discussed it openly?
I don't think that I would bring it up.
I don't think Avery would either. So I think it's kind of one of those, nod and wink situations.
Yeah. All right. Pan, you want to get a card?
Yep. Doop, doop. Here we go. Ooh. What is something you do for the queen that has prepared you well for this journey? Ooh. I. What do I do well for the queen? Well, I have gotten stronger this whole journey because I have been the pick things up and put them down type person. But I think I've also seen how a lot of tricks work, and I've gotten even better with my pickpocket slash um, quick fingered abilities. So I feel like at this point, Giz could probably get past most people's perception.
So you could like get us into a place that we're not supposed to be.
Yeah. Plus, or like pick somebody's pocket without them ever noticing. Even a skilled magician would have a hard time seeing where my hands went. Or feeling something get lifted. So even among actual magic users, I might have a slight quickness that they wouldn't be able to perceive.
Has Giz ever stolen from the Queen or the Inner Circle?
Not from the Queen, for sure. He's very afraid of her. Probably he's taken a thing or two from Clyde.
Mm.
Probably like things that he thinks are really cool, like maybe you have a set of cufflinks or something, and he's like, man, that is so adult, and I need those.
Very important follow-up question. Does Giz even have a shirt that can use cufflinks?
Unlikely. He probably put them on his hat,
Classy.
like as pins. Like,
Before his
now
time.
I'm super sophisticated.
Love to see
Nice.
it.
What specific restraint has the Queen placed on you that don't apply to anyone else?
Hmm.
This journey is with everyone, right? Including the Queen? Or is it
Yeah.
just us? Okay.
It's everyone.
Then I would say that I need, like, I can travel, but I'm with her, you know? So it's not like I don't go anywhere by myself.
Is it like in the same room?
No, it's essentially like wherever she goes, I go. But
Okay.
I can't just like go on vacation or
Yeah.
decide to go on a road trip or anything like that.
Right.
So I can
Since
still like walk around and do stuff, but
she maybe adopted you, how far away from, like, what's the farthest away from her that you've been?
probably the grocery store,
Okay.
like the in-town grocery store of like wherever we are. I don't think she's ever been. Yeah, I don't think she's ever been like away, like one town over or anything like that.
Interesting.
Has she ever tried or asked?
I think she has. I think she's been like, oh, I saw, this thing in a newspaper. I thought it'd be cool. It's like a weird show, it's called a bazaar. It's over in the two towns over. I think she kind of does that regularly. But I also think that she's kind of complacent in terms of like when the queen says no, because a lot of the time she does get to go to amazing places and see amazing things because she travels with the queen all the time. So it's like kind of like the queen most likely is kind of like, no, we're going to the boardwalk in Atlantic City like next week. So you don't need to go see a weird bazaar in a dive 2 towns over. That's ridiculous. So I think she's just like, oh, that's a good point. Because I don't know if Penny truly understands uh the restriction or the restraint.
The Queen just keeps getting worse.
I know.
Yeah.
So is Penny just kind of like Rapunzel in the
Yeah.
Entangled?
Yes, that's exactly what she is. Penny is Rapunzel. And
Well, let's
so
do the. Oh,
maybe
sorry.
I was gonna say, so maybe if, a boy she had a crush on came by and was like, hey, do you want to go to this thing? And it was far away, perhaps she would like push harder, but she's never had any of those types of connections yet.
So she just doesn't care. She's like, I'll just read another book and
Mm-hmm. Paint the
paint the
walls.
wall somewhere.
Here.
All right, let's go ahead and get another card.
Okay. Why are some others at the royal court jealous of your relationship with the queen? I think there is a perception that I know more of the queen's secrets than I actually do.
Hmm.
I deliver a lot of secrets to the queen, but I actually probably know the least about her out of anyone in the inner circle, despite my efforts to uncover things. Um, but yeah, I think there's a perception that I am more in the know than I am. And I carry myself like I know more than anyone else in the inner circle. And I think that leads to some jealousy.
Even when she was mad at you, she just made you do paperwork. I'm sure she's done much worse than that.
Yeah. I mean, not from my point of view, but from others, I'm sure. I do think the queen also, I think the queen is very aware that I am ambitious, even if she doesn't know the exact flavor of my ambition. And I think some of her does enjoy feeding that ambition.
Yeah, so she didn't give Giz much time for like show me your act. Does she do that more with Avery?
I think it is less show me your act and more show me precisely how this other magician did something, which from the outside could be perceived as her uh, showing interest in my acts, my magic, but is in fact not.
All right. You once saved the queen's life. How?
Oh my goodness.
This is so convoluted.
Yeah, it is.
Helped her kill
Wow.
somebody. Now you saved her life.
Fathered her child.
Oh my god.
Did that save her life? Let's see. I think after the incident with Avery's brother, the members of the Order of Magicians became suspicious of Antoinette's activities, and they don't know that I was involved at all, but I think I must have like thrown someone else under the bus. Like I implicated a different magician and was in the position where I could like move around like itineraries and paperwork and make this paper trail pointing to, excuse me, pointing to someone else being responsible for that, someone else within the Order of Magicians. And I don't think I even came out and accused anyone. I just pushed things in the right direction and organized things where she wasn't implicated anymore. And she's definitely still considered a threat and someone who should not be around, but they would have wiped her out after that.
Did they remove the person you implicated?
Yeah.
So you've helped kill 2 people.
For
At
sure.
least.
Wow.
At least.
How do you feel about that?
I don't think I have any qualms at all about that. the whole order are enemies of Antoinette, and they deserve what's coming to them.
But then why are we gonna go meet them?
I think probably the public reason, or the reason that she tells everyone, is that we're going to bury the hatchet and make amends, because we're on a mission of peace. We're on a mission to I don't remember what the words were, to a distant kingdom to broker a peace. But I think my very first question was, why do I suspect that that's not actually what we're doing?
Bury the hatchet in somebody's back.
Yep.
Does the queen know that you did this?
What's more interesting there? I'm gonna say yes.
I feel like she couldn't have not known.
Yeah.
Like she had probably directed it in some way.
I feel
Oh,
like
that's
maybe that was actually a moment where she was not fully in control of things. Like that she was making some desperate move for power, and she didn't do it in a clean and tidy way. And like it, I don't know if her ambition got the better of her, or she just felt like she was not going to make the mistakes that she made. But I think it was a situation where I really had to clean it up for her.
Hmm.
And did you do it under her direction, or was it your idea?
Probably a little bit of both. Probably well, I think I know what I can do here, and then she gave me the go ahead to do it.
Okay. Oh, come back. You had a vivid dream about the queen. What about it surprised you? Ooh. Can can I be can I can I like project into the future or no?
Yeah. I kind of love how that plays into the way that this whole story started of illusionista having a dream.
Mm-hmm.
I in the dream I'm an old man and I see the face of the queen before me with that same sad expression and she says again, "Don't worry, one day you'll die." And it wakes me right up. And I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm old." Oh no, I'm young. It's fine.
So what was it that surprised you? The age?
The age, like I was a super old man and she looked the same, but
Hmm.
I felt in that moment she was getting ready to kill me. But I was I was a very old man. I did not expect to be a very old man when she was about to kill me.
Excellent.
Did you tell anyone about this dream?
Um, I think in the future he probably told Blizz about it.
Right. Tanya? We should be getting pretty close to the last card.
What's the most difficult part of this journey, and what makes you so adept at overcoming it? Hmm. Uh, I mean, the only thing that I think I would find difficult is if my relationships were like rocky. I don't know if anything else would really be difficult for me.
Do you think, as a suggestion, maybe the queen's in like a more tense mood approaching the diplomatic peace meeting?
I mean, I think to me she's always in a
Fair.
of her. Um, hmm. Maybe I guess this is a question. Am I making headway with Giz? I think like that would be the only thing that would
Ooh,
be because I'm
I have an
doing a
idea.
lot.
Are you
What
trying to flirt with me, or are
I
you
don't think she knows.
trying to just be friends?
what if Blizzard joined the retinue?
Oh no,
No.
that'd be perfect. No, that'd be perfect. Okay, yeah. I think she felt like she was making headway, and then this chick comes along who seems to be way cooler and seems to have a better chemistry with Giz, and she kind of gets put out a little bit. What was that?
That's tragic.
I
It's just so
know.
sad.
Sorry.
What makes me so adept at overcoming it? Ah, this is where my villain art comes in.
Oh no.
I know. I think this is a rejection she obviously wasn't prepared for. And so of course, I was gonna say, I wonder who she goes to. Because I feel like she'd get two different responses depending on who she went to. She went to Avery or she went to the Queen. Where do you go with it when you have a broken heart? I'll say that she's not very good at hiding her emotions. I think Penny is like an open book. So like when she's sad, she's sad. When she's really happy, she's really happy. And you can kind of tell her emotions. So I'll say that this is quite obvious to Avery. That was a bit of a heartbreak and she didn't really know what to do with herself. And so I think what's been helping her get over it is that she's becoming closer to Avery. And maybe spending more time with her and like Marcus, and just kind of shifting her attention to them two.
I think in response to that, what Avery would do is try and take her and Marcus on outings that would be permissible, like going to get ice cream or taking them like to the mall, things that the queen wouldn't necessarily have a problem with, but that maybe she hadn't specifically done with them before.
Like that. I'm imagining like everybody stopped over at like a roadside motel somewhere in the middle of America, and like Gizzard and Blizzard are like getting to know each other, and then everybody else is going off to get ice cream. The queen is in her room, her suite, doing dark magic.
Dun, dun, dun.
Sacrificing a pigeon or something.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Static, you want to grab a card?
Yes. In your eyes, what makes the queen ugly?
You have so many reasons.
I have so many reasons. I think to spice it up a little bit, I think physically and aesthetically, she finds the queen just obsessively beautiful, which then makes all of the darkness in her oddly alluring for Avery. I think what makes the queen ugly is not what she's done, but what she has done to Avery. I think the things that she has done to other people that Avery doesn't care about, I think Avery sees that as something to emulate. But she's ugly for the personal insults and injuries that she has given Avery.
I feel like everybody has a villain arc.
I think Avery's just a villain.
She looks up to the bad things that she's done. Like, that sounds like the beginning of a villain arc.
Yeah, and I think it's not that, like, I think she doesn't necessarily view them as bad. I think she views them as self-serving, which she considers a virtue.
Fair.
But yes, they are horrible and bad things, and you absolutely shouldn't look up to them.
Alright, I'm gonna get a card.
Oh my
The jokes
goodness.
keep writing themselves.
Wow.
It really does.
That's on the nose.
Serving the queen is your duty. What do you do for her that is also your pleasure?
Winky, winky face.
And do you still do those things?
Yeah.
I guess so.
I guess so.
Cards say it. That's what the card says. Alright, Pan, your turn.
Oh, I wanted so much more detail.
The rating of this podcast.
All right. I'll just draw another card. Why didn't you go down? There you go.
Oh.
The queen is under attack. Do you defend her? Oh no.
Can I set the scene?
Please.
Yeah.
The queen is under attack. Okay. We've all arrived at the Grand Marlin Hotel in Wizard Springs, Wisconsin for the annual meeting of the Esoteric Order of Magicians. And I think the astonishing Antoinette has made her way up onto the stage in the ballroom and launches into a performance with this room full of like very traditional looking magicians with their like beards and tuxedos, and she starts drawing on this magical energy and these like eldritch forces working through her, and she does this trick where she's going to swallow the sun, and it goes dark outside, and like the sun appears above her as like a little orb of fire, and she is magically absorbing it, like going to literally swallow it and black out the sky, and like there's winds blowing around, and maybe like a couple of the magicians in the crowd who are also actual practitioners of magic like leap up to stop her. So this is where she's under attack by the other old school magicians.
Ooh. Well, you've set a great scene for me, and there's a lot of magic in the air, and back a long time ago we said that Giz doesn't really remember when he started hearing the lizards. So I feel like this is the moment where Liz pops her head out from under his collar and says, I think we gotta stop the queen. And Giz helps the other magicians in the room and doesn't defend the queen.
All
Wow.
right. So we're gonna go around the table answering this. So next up, Penny.
Oh, man, that's a rough question. I think still, honestly, I kind of think at this point, I don't know, man.
I guess you see Giz attacking.
Yeah, and I just like became closer to Avery like very recently on this journey. Oh, ugh. But I also didn't really like not become close to the queen, Like I didn't, there was no rift. So I
Yeah.
don't know why I wouldn't defend her. So yes, I will defend her. Do I have to explain how I do that? Because
Yeah. I mean, like in that immediate moment, what do you do?
well, I did say that I have innate true magic. I'm just not a magician. So most likely nobody has actually ever seen my magic. What do I? Yeah. Maybe I'm like a elemental, like a fire starter. Um. So yeah, maybe I will produce flame out of nowhere and shoot it at people.
All right.
Yep.
Hey, Avery.
Very important question. Where is Marcus in all of
That is a good question. I think Marcus is probably like, um, probably like back of the room. Like just kind of hanging out at one of the tables or something like that. He's kind of just always in the background.
And so he would probably, like, this is a situation that would probably put him in danger.
Yeah.
I think seeing Giz and Penny on opposing sides of this, I think Avery would technically try and kidnap Marcus. Her first thought would be get him out, and then if there's time, see how she can go back and use it to her advantage.
Okay.
But she would not defend the queen.
She's like, I heard that it's okay if you just take a child and then like raise them and they work for you.
Right? I have seen this work before, and I like this one. I'm going to take this one. Build my own magic empire.
Yes. Clyde 100% defends her, and he doesn't have any magic. I think he just like runs up and like he's like with this group too. I think he's a little scruffier looking. He probably has like a big 60s hippie mustache, but he's wearing a suit and like jumps onto the back of the lead person, and the other magicians with their white gloves drag him off and pull him down. And um, the lead magician is like really doing like magic shtick, like pulling things out of his sleeve and like using misdirection and like a little like
Wait.
pop bang.
Wait. Are these magicians actually dangerous? Because I just realized I'm like torching the entire group, thinking
Yeah, I
that
don't
they're like
know.
really dangerous.
I don't know. It could go either way, really. I don't know if we're gonna find out today, but they're like undoing whatever Antoinette is doing, and they force her back to the back of the stage and into a disappearing cabinet. And the little ball of fire goes out, the sun comes back out in the sky, and the cabinet opens, and she's gone. And I think like things are on fire. Probably some of these other magicians are badly hurt. Um, what I mean, I guess ultimately we know what happens to Giz. He goes on with his life and becomes a magician. What happens to Penny in like the immediate aftermath of this?
Um, uh, I don't think she realizes that she popped off a little too hard. Um, like trying to decimate everyone. But I think that makes sense given her upbringing.
Totally.
But I think she always knows where the queen is, Like I think one of the reasons why the queen makes her be with her all the time is kind of because she knows that she has powers that can be harnessed in the future. And so I think they kind of know, like, if she does, have to lay low, she knows where to go. So I think she, in the chaos, also kind of disappeared.
And I guess Penny is inheriting everything that belongs to the queen as well.
I am the new queen.
Ooh.
What and yeah, what happens to Avery and Marcus?
I think assuming Clyde never follows them.
Yeah, I don't think we ever hear from Clyde again.
Yeah, I think Avery kind of realizes that she kidnapped a child from his father. And I think hearing that the queen vanished, there's a lot of paranoia there. So I think she and Marcus go on a around the country, we're just moving, seeing the sights, road trip with the buddies kind of tour until she feels comfortable enough to ironically settle down and find a 9-to-5 to support this child.
He grew up with, like, does he like think you're like his aunt, like favorite aunt that like has been taking care of him this whole time?
I assume so, or a family friend, and like I think he was old enough to be aware that something happened. But I think the story that she would tell was, oh, it was a terrible and tragic accident, and I'm going to take care of you now.
And he always felt a pull back to Wizard Springs, Wisconsin, and grew up and got a job working the front desk at the Grand Merlin.
Oh my gosh.
And eventually worked his way up the ladder, became the general manager, juggling all kinds of different tasks.
Literally.
Oh my god.
You love to see it.
Never even recognized him.